Hi, David. Good morning in Australia. You're
Good
ready to go
morning
on with your
from
show.
Australia and welcome everyone. I'm just checking the comments. Come online, let me know how you are. And any questions, we'll do some meditation, some readings. I've got my tea with me over here. And let me know what's on your mind. For me, I was just talking to Debbie that things have been really busy, and it's almost, I would say like your tea, or I don't know what a good analogy would be, but you put all these ingredients, maybe a soup, you put all these ingredients into the soup, you put the carrots and the onions and the some spices, and it's all going very well, and then you start to put in something like cheese, and it gets a bit, oh, I'm not sure about that, and then you put in more and more, and it feels a bit that way for me at the moment, that too many things, and I just need to meditate and clear and purify purify my sort of mental environment, my energy, because there's so many things that are distracting me and bringing just, they're all energies, they all affect our energies and focus, and it just gets, sometimes it just gets too much. And I did go away to a beautiful place, I think about a month ago, and I was kind of thinking, oh, I just need to go there again because it was so peaceful. And where I live, for me, it's noisy, so it's a bit of a drain on my mental serenity, because I can hear the traffic, and that's, I'm very sensitive to sounds. So for me, even a sound that doesn't affect another person, it can actually agitate me. So silence is really helpful. The sounds of nature, I love the sounds of nature. Um, so, anyways, that's just me. And what's happening in you, Andrea 54 Hector? Thank you for coming in. I'm not sure who you are, but nice to see new people. And I'm just looking for my favorite. And seeing if Kim is around, because Kim usually engages lots of topics. But she sent me a message saying she's at work, so Kim is not with us. Debbie says, "I love silence too." Thank you, Debbie. And I think you said you were in Florida. Am I getting that? Am I getting that correct? So, what's going on for you? What's happening for you? Are you also feeling this energy? We had a full moon. I think it was 3 days ago. It was really a lot of strong energy, and October seems to be a strong month. Definitely with the equinox, in September there was a lot of shifting, and I feel like we're clearing away more energies. And I feel like a few people have mentioned feeling raw and feeling exposed, and feels like the whole truth is coming out, and including our vulnerabilities and things that we may have left in the shadows, maybe lurking. And things for me, like I'll be honest with you, my desk is untidy, and I think that's something that just affects the whole balance and symmetry. I really like cleanliness, and yet for my own desk, I sometimes just let things pile up, and because and that's where things are. You just have to make it a priority, because today's going to be my clean desk day, because if I don't do it, it's never quite the right moment. There's always something else to do, something more important. And quiet is something I really value. Debbie, San Francisco. I've been to San Francisco, California, and a lot of changes happening economically, environmentally. We seem to be going through so many changes in the world. So very important that you understand that you're here to play in this world. You cannot change everything all at once. We are collective. We all connected to the collective energy, and just keep making little changes. And sometimes it's just cleaning your desk is doing something really helpful for your mental health, and that will open things up again for more abundance, more new things coming into the world. And you never know when something good is going to happen. So just keep going out there into the world and sharing your energy. And Debbie, you mentioned homelessness, drugs, the economy. There's a lot of issues, and I think we really need to expose these issues and confront them and face them head on, and not ignore them. We still have this issue in society where you have the 1% or the 0.1% who have trillions of dollars or whatever their currency, and a lot of them have way too much power. So there's still this issue going on, and the more we can expose it, the more we can dispose the bad things happening, the more we can cleanse it and heal it. And I don't feel like the capitalism as it is now is going to keep moving forward, because it doesn't really work as a system. It really works for some and not for others, and it's really because of the really people with billions of dollars who are wanting to make more and more, and they're holding it on, and they want to create more and more and more. It's really because of people like that things don't work, because it only works when things move around and they're traded and shared, and there needs to be movement, but also all people need to be respected and looked after. So when you see homelessness and drugs, it really reflects our mental health, and the economy as well reflects our mental health. And the serenity I was talking about is what the world needs, what we all need, but all in balance. And I always talk about the yin and the yang. And Debbie says our old mayor, Diane Feinstein, just died. So a lot of the citizens are sad about it, as she was very loved. And of course, people, that's also part of life, that people are here for a short time. And we also have to accept that we are here for a short time, and shine our light and really share our spirit with the world, and to make it a better place. And it's hard if people are sometimes you see people and you can see they're in a dark place. I saw someone I know, and he's I could see that I knew he drank a lot, but I could see that he just looked like an old alcoholic. And it was sad to look at someone and see that someone I know, and he's kind of holding on to life. He's doing okay in terms of functioning in the world, but he just has this alcoholism. And so we all have some addictions. We all have some things that that tie us to this world. But it's when it gets out of control that it really becomes destructive, and it can snowball, because one thing can fall away, and another thing can also fall away, and before we know it, we can end up homeless. It can happen, especially when you involve drugs. It devastates people and communities. And perhaps it's a topic where we can look at the spiritual causes of addictions and what we can do about them. And really, these are spiritual sicknesses, these are spiritual diseases, and the solutions are in the simple things that we often don't appreciate, that I was talking about for myself: the quiet, stillness, time, early nights, time on one's own, time in nature, time really contemplating one's connection to oneself, and that way we have a connection to our self-worth, our self-esteem is very important. And once that breaks down, people become quite self-destructive, because they hate themselves, and so they want to punish themselves. So the love that we have for each other, particularly children, is when we children need our support, and children need a safe place where they are unconditionally loved. And if that's not in place, which is unfortunately the case for so many people, there is often such a void and such a lack of balanced self-esteem, where people can so easily get lost and influenced by addictions. And there's some very charismatic people often selling drugs. And I was talking to Debbie as well about someone I knew who was a client of mine, and it came out that he was a sexual abuser. And so I was devastated because it was someone I knew, and I just never had that. I never had that thought in my mind. It was the last thing I could imagine. So it's something that's very shocking when it's someone you know that is doing something harmful, that is damaging other people like that. You just wonder what's real and what's not. So this person was an influential teacher. He was highly respected, and unfortunately, it seems to be people who reach these high positions. He was also very charismatic, who carry out these abuses. Not all of them, I'm sure, are abusive. So I'm not in touch with this person. I just heard from a friend and it came out, and then I looked online and I found all of this stuff, and I was quite shaken up. But it does seem like certain people with a lot of influence and charisma can really use that to manipulate people. And because he was so clever, I think he conned himself as well as conning other people, that he was somehow entitled to that, because it's very selfish to do such a thing. So there is a lot of sadness, and we need a catharsis, we need a healing, and we need to talk about these topics. And I know some people are locked away for life or whatever, but I feel like whether they're locked away or not, they're still a product of our society. They're still part of the collective. And so Debbie, you were asking about children. Not exactly. I don't have any of my own children, but it's not a direct answer, because I have been a donor before. So it depends what you're asking, but I haven't got my own children. No. Yeah. So let me know in the comments section if there's anything on your mind, in your heart, that you would like to discuss. And I feel like we do need to have the difficult conversations and talk about people who often very highly esteemed in the community. It's happened a lot within the Catholic Church, particularly, where people were priests and abusing young children. We had that in Australia quite a lot. A lot of children were destroyed by this behavior, and it seems to really destroy people's self-esteem and their ability to function in the world. It breaks them down. But I do believe abuse breaks through the sort of safety walls of a person, call it the fabric around the person. It breaks down those walls. So it is a catharsis or a transformative event. So it doesn't have to be seen as something all negative, definitely not all positive, but it's almost like an initiation. So I don't know how that resonates with you, how you feel about that. It doesn't condone in any way people's behavior, but what I'm saying is there can be some kind of chosen aspect a person's soul came here to work on, which may sound controversial. However, souls are choosing to come to this incarnation to choose our experiences. And if something happened, if you think of who your parent is and what your parents, how they've behaved towards you, for instance, these are things that you've come in with the choice, that your soul has said, yeah, that's my choice, I'm coming in with that. So it's not that you're a victim of that experience from a soul level. From a human level, we're victims of the experience. From a soul level, we've signed up for that. We've said, yeah, I'm going to do that. I've chosen that for myself. So there's a lesson there. There's something beyond just the victim persecutor or victim oppressor dynamic. There's something deeper going on, that our soul is signed up for that experience. And Debbie, a lot of our Catholic churches have filed bankruptcy due to the number of molestations that have occurred. So it's a pathway that has some beautiful practices and rituals and rites. But it seems like when there's too much repression, that people go a bit crazy and it doesn't serve the collective good. We do seem to need a freedom, and any religion that controls you and tells you all these rules, it's not coming from God, because there's a certain laws of nature, and goodness is really important to cultivate virtues. However, virtues come from the heart. It's something we can learn in the home, how we behave towards others, how we behave towards ourselves. That's really what's important. But religions get a bit muddied with all their dogmas and all their rules and regulations and things, the half truths and the deceptions that are infiltrate all the religions, that don't really come directly from source. They're sort of muddied, like the muddied waters. I was talking about the soup earlier on, or the tea, and I was saying it's, you have your pure tea, and then you throw in sugar, and you throw in milk, and then you throw in cinnamon, and then you throw in this, and then you start to throw in cheese, and your tea just gets like, you're not going to drink it anymore. And that's how a lot of religions become. And as human beings, I feel like I get like that as well. There's too much going on, and I just need quiet, stillness, meditation, rest. And I'm just getting to your comment, Debbie. My younger sister told me she was molested by my father, and I was shocked. She kept it a secret for a long time. And that's really shocking, Debbie. What was I watching recently? Yeah, I remember now. I watched something on Netflix which was similar, where someone's sister also was abused, and the other sister wasn't. So, and the other sister never knew. And this person was suffering her whole life, and she finally told her sister about it. And that's something redemptive, something healing, to share it with other people. And I don't know when you were aware of that, because it sounds like you weren't. When you say you were shocked, so you weren't aware that it was happening. And so much of that is true, where we just don't know what's happening, even our own family members. And Debbie says, I think we need to understand not all Catholics do this behavior. And that's definitely true. And there's certain sort of diseases within humanity. And I think we need to look at this as a disease. And it's not only, any particular religion, or it's not any particular community. There is this disease that is in humanity that needs to be looked at and cleansed and really assessed for what it's a kind of twisted selfishness, and really it's like taking from others, but to a very sick to a very sick level, where you don't think about them or consider you don't consider them at all. You just take, and we've done that with our planet so much. Just take things without keeping things balanced, without giving back. And it's very sad when you have some religions that have this beliefs about. I was speaking to someone, and he said, "Yeah, there's no trees in the old city because everyone they don't believe in they believe it's against their religion to have trees," or something along those lines, where they cut down all the trees. And I've seen it with other cultures where there's some sort of cultural, the Chinese as well, where there's a cultural kind of belief that we don't want trees. So a lot of the Catholic churches seem to be going through a real revaluation, where it's coming out, but I would say it's in all the religions. But the Catholic Church does have some extreme ideas, and it doesn't seem to work. But maybe it's the kind of people who are struggling with themselves. Maybe they've made the choice to become priests, and that's why it seems to be a bigger issue within that realm. And Debbie says she told me at age 28. And that's just very, very difficult. But 28 is a big age. It's a big Saturn return. So it's a time when things are changing. So it's great she told you. And I really would say we need to have conversations. We need to talk. We need to share what's on our mind, what's in our hearts, share our issues of abuse, not keep it all hidden away. And that's what's changing in this timeline. I believe that we are in a timeline where people are exposing or revealing more of their truth, and a lot of the time all of their truth. And that's beautiful and wonderful. It's like the chrysalis opens up and the butterfly can be revealed through sharing. And Debbie says she approached or confronted your father. So that's really interesting, and so painful, because especially our innocent child, we have these pillars of masculine and feminine figures, our mother and our father and our mother, these masculine figures that are almost like these divine entities in our life as children. And when one is abuses, it's very destructive on self-esteem. And Debbie says, I'm honored on one level that she told me, but I wish she would have told me sooner. I understand she did not, because he was a policeman. So a lot of shame and guilt. And just be happy she told you, Debbie. That was her time. 28's a big time of change. There's so much shifting. And I think that's why 28 was when she told you. So that was her time when she really was just going through lots of shifts, and she was ready to share with you. And at least that happened, because some people never tell others and keep that within. And your father, the policeman, I asked him, when did you plan on telling our mother? And sorry, Debbie, Carlos, welcome. We're just having discussing things that are very suppressed in society, and maybe a bit of a heavy conversation discussing the shadow side, the darkness, and looking to raise it up, to bring it into the light, and to not to keep it all hidden away, because that's not a model that works. We need to bring it up and look at it and decide what to do with it, and heal and recover. And Debbie, it was the same dilemma in the church. They kept it to themselves, and the shaman guild is huge, but it's all communities. It's not just the church, but we're hearing more about the church now, which is a good thing. It's being revealed, but within the family, the same thing. Within communities, all this stuff that's hidden away is an energetic cord. It has an energetic influence on families and communities, and keeping it hidden away, just the shame and the guilt persists, and the lies and the deception and it's even something that's goes further. There are other dark little hidden areas that people will never talk about, but we need to bring it out and expose it and heal it. And that's wonderful, Debbie. You're the protector in your family, and thank you for sharing that. With others. What's interesting is she has a beautiful long-term relationship, about 25 years. She is okay now, but never forgave him. We all have things we suppress. I remember a few years ago, it was advertised more in the church. And Kayla, watching for the first time, so welcome, Kayla. Where are you coming from? We're talking about these issues of darkness and repression, and particularly sexual abuse is something that's just devastating. But there's so many other areas of Pennsylvania of abuse, and we're going to look at this and see if we can gain any insight from the cards. And so there's interesting with the cards that are being presented from Spirit there. They're giving me a picture of a lot of blocked energy, and especially around the feminine. And Kayla says, I know that firsthand, so perhaps there's something that drew you to this show, that's connected you to share with us and to talk about your experience. And Debbie says, what is interesting is your sister's a family therapist with 2 master's degrees. Yeah, that's very common. It's very common, and it's really just recognize that what a person becomes is not accidental or incidental. So if a person experiences some kind of injustice, it plants a seed in their mind, and that kind of person is more likely to go into the police force, for instance, because they have that in their mind. And the same with abuse, that people who are abused tend to want to heal, they want to recover, and so they seek guidance from others, and that gets them interested. They seek healing in psychology and in other things, but they are damaged themselves, which plants the seed of their interest. The same with health. I studied naturopathy. I'm a naturopath, and naturopathic medicine, most of the people studying it had a personal issue, a personal health problem, or the other people, there was 1 or 2 who had family members with health problems, and they wanted to heal their family members. So there's a motivation to go down a certain path, and often it does come from the self, although we may or to help others, ultimately there's a need within us to help ourselves. And I'm so sorry, Kayla, that you had this experience, that you went through this awful experience. And Debbie says, I think many times people want to know, why did this happen to me? And I was talking earlier about the gateway, the initiation. The soul has chosen that, and it's very confronting to hear that, because it doesn't mean you're less of a victim of that experience. But there's a certain fire energy. So you can imagine the fire comes too close, the flame comes too close, and then there's, what are you going to do with that energy? So there's a certain initiation in that, in what you do with it. Do you reveal it? Do you heal it? Do you use that energy to help other people? And Debbie, I always thought the priest was our protection, were our protectors. And I'm so sorry to Kayla. So I was looking at these cards, and there is I picked 3 cards, very feminine cards coming out of this. And it's also indicating that there's a blockage and a constraint, that this is kind of, it's leading to a potential breakthrough, I'm being told. So it's like the darkness before the dawn. And it's a very intense, confronting experience, of course, but very restrictive. So it's like you're stuck inside a prison, and then there's a redemptive aspect, an opportunity to be released to something greater and better. So it needs to be unraveled more and more, and to go through the cycle. And this other card's actually indicating that there is a financial constraint connected, that this energy is part of the suppression of the feminine, and the feminine is being suppressed, and that's blocking, creating a financial block, which is part of the idea of the control. So it's all about control here. I'm just keep looking at these cards. So there's a feminine or female energy connected to health, money, and value. So value is key. When people lose their self-worth from being abused, it's their value, and that's how it's this controlling force that's bringing them down, putting them down, and saying you're not good enough. So it's really important we reconnect with our power and take our power back, and bring ourselves into self-love, self-honor, self-respect. So bring that back. And that's definitely a lot of emotions caught up in this reading. I'm seeing so many emotions, and there's a female dealing with so much family emotions, so many unresolved matters. It's this kind of like a storm, and subtle manipulations. So really important we bring calm and peace, and heal the unmet parts of ourselves. So interesting reading on that. And Debbie says, talking about the Catholic Church, did you ever see the movie The Thornbirds? I remember that. I remember hearing about the Thornbirds, Debbie, a little bit before my time. And Debbie says, I believe in extinguishing relationships if they're not good. Yeah, we need boundaries. So when our boundaries are taken away from us, we need to create healthy boundaries. So boundaries are a huge issue. Where our power is removed from us, we need to take back our power, establish healthy, firm boundaries. And when relationships are not good, it's good to disconnect. It can be very empowering and helpful remove ourselves from the toxicity. Sometimes it's more difficult than that, and it takes time, and it's a journey. And this is not encouraging people to make any particular decision. That's still up to them, and making sure that you get the right advice, you get the right support, because you do need support, and you need people around who understand you and you can share openly with. So that may be a therapist. Some therapists can be very helpful, some not so much. So it's choosing the right person, being discerning. Debbie says the beauty of being an introvert, staying calm and quiet. Well, the energy does need to be discharged. It needs to be released in a balanced way, that we don't burn out. We release the fire, but we keep our boundaries intact. But definitely catharsis, emotional releases were really important to release that energy. There's often a lot of rage and very suppressed emotions. So it can be confronting to face up to those emotions and look them in the eye and release them. So we can release through voice is a good, really, and body movement, sound, healing. So making a sound is really important. Movement, breath, and sound. I would say that's how to remove these kind of stuck emotions. Is just emote. And I've done various workshops and things where we do laughing yoga, we do primal scream, where we do a lot of drumming. I think drumming workshops are fantastic to get into, to ground our energy field, ground ourselves, get us back into balance, and to get into the sense of boundaries. But also emotional release can be something like, I did a workshop where we were just screaming into pillows, hitting the pillow. And I did other kinds of workshops where we had a mattress, and the one was the tennis racket, and we were just releasing emotions related to different people and letting that go. So very important we do that. And what's the definition of boundaries? It's a good question, because of course we know what a boundary is for our country. And it's interesting, certain politicians have interesting ideas about even our country's boundaries, but it's usually a dividing line between one thing and another thing. So it's a mark that says you can't come further. You can go this far, but you can't come further. This is my boundary. So it's almost like if you have a house and around the house there's a dividing wall, that's the boundary. If someone comes onto your space, they're in your space, and it can be real or imagined. So within one's personal space, it's like someone's sitting too close to you. They're in your personal space. You'll feel it. It's not a physical boundary necessarily. It just marks an edge of a principle or relationship, something where there is a limit, where there's not just limitless. We're not just an open territory. We need boundaries. So it is really important socially, personally, environmentally. It's important for countries to have boundaries, and to have limits, and to have what we tolerate, what we allow, what we don't allow. And Debbie, do I play chess? No. I used to have a good friend who was very good at chess, but used to play with him, but that was a long time ago. Why do you ask? So I'm just looking, Eliana, Julie. Where are you, Eliana? So let's have a look at Eliana. May I have a reading, please? So thank you, Eliana. And let me know where you are. Eliana, that's a beautiful name, and I like the L's. And Debbie said, I was thinking you do because you're good at strategy. Well, that's interesting. I'm not quite sure what you mean, strategy, but thank you. I guess that's a compliment. I'm good at strategy. So maybe you can let me know exactly what kind of strategy. It's more that I think in the big picture, but also in terms of what's happening in the field, in the collective, is what's happening as individuals, the big energies of masculine, feminine, we often talk about, and Barbara's alternative health and beauty. Hey, it's Barbara. So welcome, Barbara. We're just busy with Eliana, and thank you, Debbie, for that. So let's have a look at Eliana. Eliana. I wonder if I don't think I'm saying that right. Eliana. Eliana. Beautiful name. All right, so let's have a look at your cards, Eliana. Okay, so there's a lot of thinking going on. I feel like there's something tied up that's keeping you a bit constrained. But you are looking over at the world. That there is a important that you come into balance, because you have this tied up energy around you. There's this, the things seem quite stuck. Definitely quite stuck. So it just represents where things are at. And remember, everything works in cycles. Everything is a pattern of consciousness, a pattern of existence, a pattern within our own lives. We all have patterns. And so things seem a bit stopping you from moving forward at the moment. So I would say any opportunity you have, say yes, sign, make the move, sign the deal. Don't stay in that position, because you have the world crossing over. So it means there is this access to the world, this connection to the world that's about expansion and opening up. So I feel like you have both of these energies, which seem like opposite energies. It's like part of you is connected to the world, and then part of you is very stifled, is very stuck. But this returning around you means it's inviting you to expand your vision, to listen to your inner guidance, and see the world. Open up your mind. There's a lot out there to consider. Don't get stuck in this limited box. Break out of it, because outside of this blockage is a powerful energy that wants to get expressed. There is you're looking over and you're seeing all what other people have, or what you want to manifest. That it's there's not much action. So it's you do see the gardens at the other side. You see the other side of the gate. You're seeing that. So there's something that's out there you're being blessed with prosperity, and it's growing. It's you need to take that step forward, that step into that abundance. So don't. So you do have the choice to shift your focus, to widen your perspective with the world card. Balance is really important, that you focus on internal balance, and then the outside will also come into balance. So being centered and honoring your choices. And you are in the cycle of overthinking. So break through that. There's some things for you to let go of, but essentially it's inviting you to step forward and saying you are the one that can step forward out of this situation. So thank you, Eliana. And so Where was I looking? So Barbara, I think you wanted a reading, Alternative Health and Beauty. Barbara, and you have such a beautiful smile. Look at that smiling. So Barbara, let's have a look at you. Yeah, there's just some sadness within you, Barbara, and also you kind of, same card I had before. You're overthinking things, and you do have the Sun card coming in. So there is some brightness there, but there's a lot of darkness. But the Sun indicates that there are new beginnings for you, and because it brings blessings. So there is a new change, more divine inspiration, and more personal growth coming into your life. So things are moving forward. And creatively, this really, the answer lies with you creatively. So really put your energies into creating. Visualize the light coming through, the light of divine love, divine inspiration pouring into your heart like the rays of the sun. And I would say the practice of qigong would be very helpful for you at this time. Qigong, particularly practice outside the Chinese. It's Chinese martial art, Chinese self-healing, soul energy healing. Qigong energy to feel your environment, to tune into yourself. That would be most healing right now, Barbara, because you have a lot to contribute. You have a wonderful sensitivity, a wonderful sort of, it's almost like there's this inner curiosity, but inner humor. It's quite beautiful. There's this little quirky voice that's fun and very funny. So you have that within you. So share that with others. You're a beautiful soul, Barbara. You're a beautiful soul. So do share with others, and you will come out of this. So keep going, keep sharing, and lots of love to you. And thanks for coming on the show. So Jenaline Silvera. Jenna Lynn Silvera. Jenna Lynn. Which one are you, Jenna Lynn? Lots of family around you. Okay, Jenna Lynn. It feels very stuck for you, Jenna Lynn, like financially things very, very stuck for you. And the energy as well, maybe it's the theme of today, is stuck, a lot of stuck energy. So Qigong, I would say for you as well, visualize this energy, this weight being released off your shoulders if you can, when you have a shower, whenever you can, when you wash your hands. Remember, you're washing the physical impurities from your hands. You can visualize white light cleansing your hands of negativity. And that's really going to help you. So emotionally clear, purify your mind. But there is a lack of motion. Things seem like you you're putting this on yourself. You're putting the weight on yourself. So you're tying yourself up. So see your own personal responsibility, and you don't have to be in the self-imposed imprisonment. There's too much responsibility around you, where you too many shoulds, where I should be doing this, I should be doing that, and it's just making you very stuck. Get rid of the shoulds, and take self-care. Look after yourself, Jenilyn, because you're not here to be you're not here to be a like a little mouse. You're here to present yourself, and you're here to express yourself. Thank you, gentlemen. Marky Hall Hobson. Marky Hall Hobson. Marky Hall Hobson. So welcome, Marky Hall. Marky Mark. So great to have you, Marky, and you are pregnant. Let's just see if I can get something for you. I'm seeing you strongly as a mother, and the angel of love is around you. So there is this support coming through from spirit. You do have a lot of energy as well, and that energy wants to express itself in the world. But the beautiful love is coming through. You have the angel of love, and that's really important to tune into that nurturing energy and recognize that this is your time. This is time for tenderness, for compassion, affection. It does feel like this angel of love is helping you in the energetic realm and helping you with the baby, and to bring this smiling on you to bring this into your life. So it's a very beautiful time of a kind of vulnerability where you're open to this kind of love. So it's telling me be patient with him. It doesn't feel like it feels like he's kind of coming in and out, that he's overwhelmed. Focus on yourself, on your own life, because this loving angel's coming in for you. It's saying this is for you and the baby. So that tenderness is around you. So definitely focus on bringing that energy forth, and that's the most important thing for you and the baby. I'm just gonna see, I don't have his name, so we don't do readings for other people on this show. So all I can say is what's coming in for you. I can't really do a reading for him, but he's I would say that he's anxious. So anxiety is what he's going through. So just be aware of that, and be aware that he's going through anxiety. So sending you lots of love to the baby, Marquis, and thank you so much for coming into the show. Okay. And details about me. Thank you for some new people for coming on the show and for sharing. It was such a beautiful sharing today. The details about me you can find on the screen. So please say hi. You know, I can do more on YouTube. I've been a bit inactive. I'm been busy with studying. So it's more that if the demand and interest is there, that then I can. That will activate me, that will encourage me to come online, to do lives, to share more. Just want to say lots of love to everyone, and thank you for your vulnerability, and see you next week. Thank you, everyone.